Welcome back to In Depth with Academia. I'm your host, Richard Price, CEO of Academia.edu, and as always, I'm here to dive into fascinating academic work from around the world. Remember, I'm not endorsing any of these ideas, just presenting them for us to think about together. Today, we have a paper by Si Hadj Mohand Abdenour, a scholar whose interests span from geostrategy and contemporary history to security studies and even science fiction, which is honestly one of my favorite genres to unwind with after a long week. You know, just letting the imagination go wild with what ifs and alternate futures. But anyway, we're not here to talk about space aliens or dystopian futures, at least not exactly. So Si Hadj Mohand Abdenour's work looks at some huge questions, many of which hit pretty close to home for anyone interested in, well, why the world can feel so unstable lately. Today, we're diving into his perspectives on geostrategy and the evolving nature of global conflicts, like what even is the balance of power today? Why do global tensions bubble up in weird new ways? And how do narratives and memories shape modern battlefields, sometimes more powerfully than tanks or drones? If you've ever wondered whether we're just pawns in a giant geopolitical chess game, this episode might add a new dimension to that question. So what's the core issue Si Hadj Mohand Abdenour addresses? Essentially, he wants to untangle the web of power, military, informational, and cultural, that defines international relations right now. In works like L'Empire du Mensonge, L'Arche de Poutine, he asks, how do state actors, especially Russia in that case, manipulate information? Can you really understand modern war without thinking about disinformation and the stories societies tell themselves? That's a thought that honestly makes me pause, because when we talk about the world today, it's never just about armies. It's almost always about narratives and, I don't know, who controls the story. Let's look at his methods and arguments. Abdenour's style is pretty interdisciplinary. He combines strategic management, international law, historical memory, plus a kind of systems thinking view that looks for hidden connections. For example, in his research on the war in Algeria, or works like Kabylie, 1954-1962, to Images Inédites, he draws on personal stories, rare testimonies, even photographs to understand how ordinary people experience global upheaval. In his studies on women in the Jurjara Mountains, he spotlights voices we don't really hear in standard history books. And it's not just the what happened. Abdenour wants to know why these stories matter for today's international tensions. One of the most tangible takeaways? Conflict isn't just about weapons or territory or, classic notions of us versus them. It's about memory, identity, and how whole societies understand themselves. If you think about a place like Kabylie, you'll see that the struggle wasn't only between opposing armies. It was deeply about the meaning of home, family, honor, and sacrifice. And as the author delves into strategy